The Hilltoppers are the two-time defending Sun Belt Tournament champions.
Number 1 Indiana continues to roll along. Right now, the Hoosiers in a softer part of their non-conference schedule.
But Mark Curry is very familiar with the way Kentucky does basketball business.
We start in Class 5A District 2 with one of the best football rivalries in the area.
Russell County surprised some folks by winning the 4th Region baseball title. You know, Fred, it would be very difficult for me to do too, because you don't want to hurt him professionally. You don't want to make his kids sad. You don't want to make his family sad. You don't want to make his friends sad. But at the end of the day, Rick Pitino, the Louisville coach, and Billy Donovan, the Florida coach, are as close as any two high-profile coaches in this business. Both of them yesterday, though, said they don't really mind facing each other on this big a stage with a Final Four berth at stake. But no matter who the winning coach is, there's a pretty good chance the losing coach is going to look on with at least a little bit of pride.
Billy is, no question about it, like a son to me. And we started at a very young age. And we had a great time together. And anytime you have a great time together and you have great success, it forms a wonderful relationship.
He just didn't promise me anything. Said that if I would listen to him and I'd work hard, that it would be the greatest 2 years experience of my life. And he was right.
Of all Rick Pitino's former players and assistants who eventually became head coaches, the U of L coach isn't linked to any more closely than he is to Florida's Billy Donovan. Over more than 25 years, from Providence to the NBA to Kentucky and Marshall, now Florida and Louisville, the two are undeniably connected.
When Billy won the championship, I sat, I think, in Indianapolis, and the first thing he did when they just won it and they shook the other coach's hand, he's waving for me to come down. And I started crying.
He is so unique and so special, you know, as a person and as a coach, that there's only one of him. There's only one of him.
Now, 25 years after they reached the Final Four at Providence, they'll meet for another trip to New Orleans. And Pitino is trying to instill some of Donovan's spirit into his current point guard.
He gives this great story about, you know, how a lot of media and people was telling Billy Donovan that, you know, how he's doing so great. And you know, Billy Donovan told him that he had no time to worry about anything, so that's why he's playing good. He doesn't have time to worry about offense. The only thing he has to worry about is getting back on defense and, you know, pressuring the ball. And, you know, Coach P gave me that philosophy, and that's what I try to maintain and do.
Head-to-head, the coaches aren't as close. Pitino is 6-0 all-time against his protege and tries for 7-0 on Saturday.
We're trying to keep Coach P a winning coach, and we know we don't want him to lose his former player and his former assistant. So, you know, we're just trying to win.
When you're coaching at Marshall and you have much better talent, and I'm never going to Marshall, he's coming to Kentucky, you don't expect to win most of the time. So you can never look at those things because he was at a tremendous disadvantage.
There's no talent disparity now, just two teams led by great friends vying for the same spot on college basketball's biggest stage.
You know, it happens to be Louisville, and my relationship, I think, with Coach is well documented. But I know that both teams are going to go out there and play their hearts out for 40 minutes.
If we were playing School X tomorrow and we lost, I'd be devastated not going to a Final Four. I'll be professionally very down about not going to a Final Four, but personally I'll be very happy for Billy Donovan.
There are all sorts of little nuggets that are pretty interesting about this matchup. Of course, Providence beat Georgetown in a regional final at Freedom Hall 25 years ago, so Rick Pitino and Billy Donovan could go to the Final Four together. Maybe my favorite one is this, though. That Final Four, 1987, when Indiana won its last national championship, it was in New Orleans, and both these coaches would love to be getting ready for a game at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome next week. Rick, Fred, back to you.
WKU football has lost some heartbreakers in the last 3 seasons, including blowing a 17-point lead in last season's finale against Arkansas State. But in today's visit to ASU, the Hilltoppers flipped the script. It had been 3 weeks since WKU last won. It was against Louisiana Lafayette. Willie Taggart and company looking to rebound after back-to-back losses at home. 7-7 in the third quarter. Kwan Jakes on the play-action fake scores on the bootleg. WKU is up 14-7. The Hilltopper defense was very strong for 3 quarters as well. Ryan Applin of Arkansas State going to air it out. Darius Brooks is there for his second interception of the game. In fact, the WKU defense created 5 turnovers. But here would come the Red Wolves. 21-14 in the fourth. Applin rolls right. He'll throw across his body and hit Dwayne Frampton for the score. Arkansas State ties it at 21. Later in the fourth, it's Applin, this time on the keeper. He'll run it up the middle for the touchdown. Red Wolves in front 28-27. Then with less than a minute to go, though, the Red Wolves would botch a punt. WKU would have the ball on the ASU 22 with 54 seconds to go. It would go down to the final 4 seconds. 4th and goal from the Toppers. From the 7, Jakes hits Willie McNeil for a touchdown. As time expires, it would send the game to overtime, tied at 28. Arkansas State would score on the first play of overtime to go up 7, but Bobby Rainey would respond from 3 yards out and made it 35-34 ASU. The Hilltoppers would elect to go for 2 points and the win. The toss was to Rainey, then he flips to Brooks, the defensive back, for the end around and the score. The play would be under review, but it would be ruled a 2-point conversion. The Hilltoppers can celebrate. WKU beats Arkansas State 36-35, 154 yards on the ground for Rainey, 190 total yards from Jakes with 3 total touchdowns.
Number 28.